I am always thrilled to have moments with all of you. Like I said, this is a get-to job, not a have-to job. And I like how Natalie knocks on that door because we know. And there has been many times where people have pulled in. I'm going to talk about Natalie in a minute because there was a time where, we have this great big 262 community. By the way, between speakers and authors, I think we're at 522 women behind the curtain. Okay, in front of the curtain, we're going to be making impact of 350 million, and you're one of them. But there was a time where there was some women, and how Angel talked earlier about how someone was coming to her with podcasts, and someone with podcasts, and someone with podcasts, and she's like, okay, there's something I need to do with podcasts. Well, I was having women come to me privately and privately and privately and privately in the group. And last year was financially funky. No way around it. I don't know about you. If you were one of the exceptions to the rule, good. Because we needed you. But I was talking to a lot of financial funk. And so I woke up one morning and I heard, call Natalie, call her in. And I said to her, will you please do a big prayer circle for all of the women in this project and all the women that are having financial funk to just like shift the energy. That's the stuff. And she did. And she's like, oh, do you mind if I call in my prayer sisters? I'm like, absolutely. Right. And so a group of us got on, and that's what happened. No one knew what happened that day. We didn't make a big formal announcement. We just did what we needed to do because the calling was there, the message was there, and people were willing to step up. And that's exactly what's been happening. So whether you're faith-based or not faith-based, you hear messages and people call it in. And so that's kind of some of the stuff that's been going on. Thank you, Natalie. Our community thanks you. And there is a woman who I've just had a blast getting to know. It is going to be a pleasure to introduce this woman to you. This is Trish Springsteen. She's easy to see. She's the woman in the house that's got purple hair. And she's going to be talking about purple hair. And I get asked this all the time because I love music, right? I'm a little addicted to music. I am wearing, my girlfriend, this is an eco-fashion friendly dress that came from the store that we're all going to take me and Natasha, on June 7th. And this is a actual Woodstock t-shirt for you. And if you're wondering about the last name Springsteen, well, we're so excited because Bruce just is starting a tour, her cousin, 74 years old, and he lands after 51 shows in Vancouver in November. And you know where me and Dorothea are going to be. We're going to be here. And so this is Trish Springsteen. And let me introduce you. She is a I laugh because she can tell you she's a multi-international author, and we're so grateful that she came into our book. And if you talk, I don't think anyone here, including myself, and I produce books. How many books that you've been in? She's a multi-international author. She has won a global award for Mentor of the Year. And I know what she's going to share, and I love how surprising life can be. I love how surprising life can be, where you can just be doing the do. Being who you are, and all of a sudden you get some pretty cool global recognition. She's going to talk about that. She's going to talk to us about 60 seconds of insane courage. 60 seconds of insane courage. She is a self-proclaimed Scrabble addict. And her music that she loves to listen to is When You Believe with Whitney Houston and Mariah Carey.
I think you did that brilliantly well for me. Thank you.
You're welcome. I was just going to say, our sister from down under.
The one thing Deb left out was where I'm coming from, and I'm coming from Australia, from Queensland, Australia. So I am absolutely honoured to be here. I have missed most of your presentation because I was sleeping, because I have just finished 1 week in Queensland's called Queensland Women's Week and International Women's Day, and I finished 1 week of 5 events, and the last one last night. So I'm actually loving it because now I'm getting a double dose because I'm back for your International Women's Day.
Isn't that incredible? That's incredible. Absolutely. I love the globalness, and we, that we have this movement's continuing now, and we will be starting in August with 4 summits a year instead of 22. 4 summits a year. And we did exactly that. Our summits are going from, way early in the morning till midday, and then midday to what I'm calling down under. So everybody gets to play. But let's talk about this 60 seconds of insane courage. And I think let's talk about the unicorn piece. Let's talk about the unicorn in the room. I mean, there is no woman I know that doesn't love unicorns. I don't know if you don't love unicorns, I don't know, but most women love unicorns. But you take it to a new level. So do you want to share what it is about unicorns that you love so much?
Okay. Look, just very short background. Way back in what I call the Jurassic period, which is a long, long time ago for me, when I left high school. At that particular time, I was a very, very, very shy introvert. Very shy introvert. Fast forward to where I am now. I'm not quite so shy. I'm still an introvert. Along the way, I've learned a few things and discovered a few things. My 60 seconds of insane courage, which I'll share shortly. But unicorns. Those who are perceptive will realize that I do like purple. It's very subtle. It's very in your face. And there's a reason for that, because I'm an introvert. It means I can start conversations very easily because other people start the conversations. Being the unicorn, I love unicorns. What does it mean to me? What it is and what I'm passionate about and what's behind what I do is helping people to have the confidence and self-belief to be the unicorn in their business. We're talking about having that empowerment, that belief in yourself, which empowers you to stand up and say, here I am. This is who I am. Because let's face it, people, we've heard a lot. So the ones that I've heard, and I believe the ones about mindset and everything like that. And that is so important. But for me, one of the things that mindset brings you to is being that unicorn. Because let's face it, no matter what business you're in, there are other people doing exactly the same thing as you. And that's what I discovered in my business when I first started. I'm predominantly a speaker coach. I'm a personal brand strategist. I'm a confidence coach. I'm a get known, be seen specialist. When I started, do you know how many zillions of speaker coaches are out there? And I've heard of a couple here. There's a lot. And I thought it was going to be very easy. All I had to do was sit back, sit in my business chair, and people are going to come to me. I have a business. I'm brilliant. I'm awesome. I didn't exactly do that, because I had to realize that if they were going to come to me, I had to stand up and say, here I am. And I had to stand up and say, this is the unique unicorn way that I do what I do. So my passion is helping each and every person I come in contact with to own that being a unicorn. Because let's face it, people, there's a lot of animals out there. There's a lot of people in the animal kingdom. There's a lot of people out there. Unicorns are unique. So why don't we embrace our uniqueness? Because each and every one of us as a human being is unique. We all have something different that we can do. And this is what I discovered when I was working with my clients. People thought that speakers were born speaking. And they look at other people and they say, I want to be just like them. Unfortunately, they can't be just like them because they are not them. But I would say to them, you are unique. There are things that you do in your business. There are things that you do when you speak that are unique to you. So be the unicorn. Be the unicorn in your business, Deb.
Okay, I'll be a unicorn in my business. But I mean, let's talk about that, because there's an assumption, I think, when someone is sitting there, and I always say they have that quiet yes, right? They're watching all of the speakers that have been there today, and there's part of them like, I'm not, I couldn't, they're better, blah, 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 right? And they have these quiet yeses. They're living the life of a quiet yes or a quiet want, right? And they think they need to be out here doing what we're doing, stage to stage to stage. Or there's a misconception that we don't have to go through what they would have to go through before they hit the stage, before they make the ask, before they walk across the room in the networking. I mean, I'll tell you, I just came from, I'm doing what you're doing, International Women's Week, and I flew over to do a keynote. And the thing I hate about keynoting is you're the last speaker of the day. So you get the anxiety all day. And people are like, what do you mean you're nervous? And I'm like, really? You go. They're like, no, I'm like, you go, right? And so it's not about not doing it, and it's not about doing it, and it's not about assuming that when you stand there, you know, people go, oh, I spoke to 20,000 people. I thought I was going to die. I thought I was going to die in the hotel room before I went and spoke to this big group. I was in the hotel room in the morning going, what are you doing? Like this voice was like, what are you doing? Why are you doing this? What makes you think that you, like, what's the point? Da, 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 da. You know what I mean? We have those and we assume that other people don't have them. When you talk about being the unicorn, you talk about having purple hair, so people go, oh my gosh, they start the conversation and it makes it easier. I think that it's important for people to know and to not assume that the fear you have is not the fear we have, right? The nerves you have is not the nerves that we have. It's not about that. It's about your 60 seconds of courage. I think let's dig into that a little bit about, you know, I mean, I love your story about how, what, you were the recipient from the women, the women in business professions and got an award and you were like, not me. Talk about that.
Okay. 60 Seconds of Insane Courage evolved through my lessons I learned from being an introvert, from my speaking journey. Things like being the unicorn, understanding my potential, learning from my mistakes, embracing change, connecting with others, listening to feedback. I learned all these lessons, you know, taking responsibility, being aware of opportunities, knowing my strengths. And you would have thought by that stage of these lessons, I was a complete person. No, I wasn't, because like Deb says, imposter syndrome can bite any time. You go up and you come down. And sometimes things are going well, and sometimes you just doubt yourself completely. And one of those times, which really where I hit the brick wall, was when I got nominated for an Inspirational Woman's Award. And now I looked at that nomination, and I thought, I don't know what this person is thinking, because I am not inspirational. I am just, hear that word, just a speaker coach. I'm just a person that helps people to have confidence and self-belief. I have never had, you know, lost all my money and grew a huge conglomeration. I'm not making, you know, $20 million. I haven't climbed Mount Everest. I haven't helped people with domestic violence. I don't have a charity. I'm just, and there's that word, just a speaker coach that loves doing what I do. So I came that close, people, to not completing that nomination because I thought, that's not me. There are so many other people who deserve that nomination. And then I'm really good at doing things at the last minute sometimes. We had the deadline coming up and I just suddenly sat there and I was thinking about my life. I was thinking about the things, the lessons I'd learned. And I'm thinking, I talk to people about being the unicorn. I'm talking to people about these lessons that I've learned. And I'm sitting here negating someone who thought I was good enough to have a nomination. And it was a big wake-up call because I thought, how dare I put that person's nomination, that person's perception of me, how dare I put that person way out there and say no? I couldn't. That's not being true to myself, and it's not being true to them. So I pulled on my big girl's pants. I listened to all my lessons and I completed that nomination. And even then, my friend said, are you coming along to the awards night? And I said, no. Why not? I'm not going to win that award. I've honored the nomination, but there's no way I'm going to win that. I've saw the other people and they are just fantastic people. And I'm so honored to have just even been nominated in their place. Anyway, this is part of what I can do with others and having a good group of people who support you, because they kicked my backside. They kicked me up, they pulled me up and they said to me, you're coming, even if we have to come there and pick you up, you are coming to that awards, you know. Long story short, you probably one of the first times since I was really getting myself together, I realized that I was speechless because I won that award. And I was utterly, utterly speechless. And my friends laughed at me because since I've been learning my lessons and since my journey, I'm very rarely speechless. And that time just knocked me back. When I sat back and thought about it, I sat back and thought to myself, that was a big aha moment, because I realized there that we do not see ourselves as others see us. we do not see the impact that we can have. That one small sentence that we say, those few words that we give people, we do not see often the impact. Sometimes with my clients, I can see that. But if I've spoken or I've had written something in my book, there could be ripples that I am never going to see. The second thing I learned was, as I said, who was I? Who was I to be so arrogant to negate someone's thoughts about me? Learn to accept with gratitude. And I do daily now. I accept with gratitude. When people say thank you, when people say you have inspired me, I say thank you. And I accept with gratitude. And I'm going to talk about 60 seconds of insane courage in a minute.
No worries. I think this is important because we negate compliments all the time, right? Or
Yeah.
we're like, we shy it away. We literally with our hand, you'll see people like, oh, thanks. And you're like, no, no worries, no worries. Or I mean, it's famous, right? Oh my gosh, I love your necklace. Oh, I got it on sale. Do you know what I mean? Like the things that we do, even in that statement, to negate and to receive compliments can be really super tough. Right? It can be really super tough. So yeah, absolutely. Please move ahead. I know I just wanted to show this because here's a woman who was completely shy. I mean, how many book are we your 19th book or something? Like,
Yeah.
so she's coming into the 262, a shy introvert, don't pick me, I'm quiet, I don't, walking across the room. I love this book because it teaches the difference between conversation and business communication, right? You're a communications expert. And we're her 19th book. And here she is with red hair, and it's creating confident communicators coming from the place of being, someone who was shy. So yes, please talk about 60 seconds of courage and the difference between communication and conversation.
The difference between communication and conversation is something that I run into a lot, especially people when they're in business, whether they're in the corporate world, in organizations, or whether they're a solopreneur. And conversation, we do that all the time. From the time we're born, we can have a great conversation. We can sit with our friends and we can really just go off and have great conversation. When we're with people, we can decide in our conversation, how much am I going to share with you? And we can decide, well, how much, how honest am I going to be? And unless you've got a really good husband, like I have for 47 years, and I trust what he has to say. So if he tells me, don't wear that out, I won't. But a lot of people will say, oh, that's good. They don't have that courage to be, they might say, oh, that's interesting. They don't have that courage to be honest. And when we're in our conversations, we can decide that. If we don't know the people too well, we can decide how much we share. We can decide how much honesty we give. And then when we go into business, whether it's our own business, whether we're in an organization, we take that conversation with us. And that's brilliant because up to a point, we need the conversation because that's what builds our relationships with people. That's how we get to know people. The thing is, you need to know when you switch from the conversation to the communication. And business communication is really 3 things. We need to inform, inspire, instruct. We cannot shade the truth. If we shade the truth too much in our business communication, we are going to lose credibility. If we are not honest with what we're going to offer to our clients and we don't give them 100% of what we offer, we are going to lose our clients. We are going to lose the credibility. And if your communication is miscommunication, you're not only going to lose credibility, you're going to lose money. You're going to lose your profit. You're going to lose time because you have to keep going back and replacing and repeating what you're doing. So good salespeople are a very good example of this. They use conversation right up to the time to make that relationship. And if you watch them, they switch. They switch to a business communication for the sales. They're telling you exactly what they've got, why that you need to get it because it meets a problem they have, and then they back it up with how that problem can be solved. And then they'll switch to the conversation to round it up. So being a good solopreneur, being a good person in a company and organization, we need to be able to have conversations and know when to switch to the communication, when we've got to be clear, concise, credible with what we're saying, competent with what we're saying, to make sure that we connect with people. And there's a skill in that, and the skill that you can learn. My 60 seconds of insane courage came about on my journey from that shy introvert up to the not so shy, but still introvert person today. And the reason I got those from those lessons I said I've learned, understanding myself, learning from my mistakes, embracing change, taking responsibility, knowing my strengths, being aware of opportunities, connecting with others, and listening to feedback. Now, that list sounds pretty good, rolls off my tongue really nicely, but that's about 30 years plus of learning, people, all in 5 seconds of saying that. 30 years plus of learning, of going up, going down. And out of that is my 60 seconds of insane courage that I share with people, because in each of those things, in each of those lessons I learned, each of those came from my formula of 60 seconds of insane courage. And basically that is 20 seconds. 20 seconds to acknowledge the negative thoughts I might have had. Oh, I'm not good enough. I can't be the unicorn. I don't have a unique persona. No, that mistake has just killed me. I'm not going to be able to come back from that. And please do not ask me to change, because that is scary. And I'm not taking responsibility for everything, because that was all to do with the weather or the car that broke down. And I don't really have any strengths. I've got a lot of weaknesses, but I don't know what strengths I've got. And do not ask me to step forward and have opportunities, because boy, if I do that, it's all going to fail. And I'm an introvert. I don't want to connect with people. I don't want to connect with people. And don't give me feedback, because as soon as you tell me that I'm not doing anything, I'm going to go fall down in a huge heap, and I'm never, ever, ever going to come back out of it. 20 seconds to acknowledge all of those negative thoughts. And then 20 seconds to say, stop. Stop. I'm not going down that spiral of negativity. I am good enough. I am the most brilliant, awesome unicorn you have ever seen. And I have learned so much. They're not mistakes, they're challenges. And change, bring it on, people. Bring on the change, because it's the only way I'm going to damn well grow. And responsibility, I am the only person that can take responsibility for my actions and for what I do and how I respond to things. And I am strong. I have strengths that I have taken, innate strengths that I have learnt. And opportunities, hey, then bring those opportunities on. That's what I did. That's why I'm here. I got a scary call and I got a scary conversation with someone, and I thought, wow, do I want to be in part of it? Yes, I do. It is an opportunity. And connecting with others, I have fantastic people that I have connected with, mastermind groups, friends, 262 Project, people here, people I have met because I took those opportunities. And feedback, the best way to grow, people, is feedback. When you get constructive, supportive feedback and you listen to that, you can only grow. So 20 seconds to realize that all of those things, I can do those things. I am in that place. And then the last 20 seconds, those last 20 seconds, they are to smile and to say yes. Yes, I am on a journey. Yes, I am awesome. And yes, I can do what I want to do when I want to do. I am the unicorn. I believe in myself, and I am frequently empowered.
Woohoo! All right. I'm engaged. I was like, oh my gosh, she's stopping. I was so engaged in what you were saying. Like, let's do the jazz hands. Let's do the hearts. Let's do the thank you so much from coming from down under. You have been steady in this project. Trish is in the book, and lucky you, when you are here and the book launches, this lady is going to be sitting beside me. She's going to be sitting beside me. She's coming from down under to be here. in Vancouver when the book goes live. I'm so excited. She goes, I'll just pop in. I'm like, no, you're hanging. We're hanging for a little bit, right? And so we are going to welcome her to Canada. Thank you so much. I'm inspired. Jazz hands, hearts, all of it.